All right, guys, I want to share with you the Citizen NH6931, otherwise known as the Citizen AutoZilla. So yeah, it's kind of like the EcoZilla, but it's an automatic titanium. And I have to say, I picked this up. Well, it's not technically mine. We'll see if I can manage to swoop it up. But my buddy Mimo, and I'll put a link to his website down below, he has this in his barn finds. So it's kind of a cool thing to watch. He's typically an authorized dealer of brand new watches, but occasionally he's getting in used pre-owned watches, aka barn finds. And this was in there, and it is a really nice setup, a really nice kit. And out of all the watches that I saw on my trip out there that weekend, this one kind of like stood out to me because it made me think, oftentimes we wear boring looking watches. I mean, even when they're like colorful and stuff like that, they're borderline ordinary. There's nothing that really like stands out from the crowd, like a Omega Ploprof or this guy or a left-hand drive Plagos or something. I don't know, just something different. And I don't want to get hung up on the whole left-hand drive thing, but more importantly, like large, bold, unique type designs, or maybe even like, what is that Tudor PL1 or whatever it is, something like that. Something that's just different, that stands out, that isn't normal. Like I'm wearing the SKX today. That's pretty normal, right? You put this on wrist, most people, if they are watch enthusiasts, are going to think you're wearing an EcoZilla. Upon further closer examination, they're going to be like, oh wait, that's not a normal EcoZilla. This is the super rare, hard to find titanium AutoZilla, and it has mods done to it, and we're going to cover that. Let's get into the watch. So here's the hang tag. It's still hung on the extra dive strap that typically comes with the watch. You can see the retail price on it. Back in the day, it was $1,750. I'm not sure what year this one was purchased, so I don't really have that information. I don't know if Mimo has that information, but in the US, they did include a 5-year warranty with this particular run, and even the hardware was titanium on it. Now, this watch is not, the factory strap. This is, I believe, a factory Citizen strap, or it looks like it, but it is not the strap that the watch comes on. Typically, this watch would come on a strap like the EcoZilla, where you don't have these lugs here. The strap gets attached directly to the case and it already has that natural curve to it. So it is missing that. They probably wore out or whatever. Or maybe they just got lost, because a common upgrade was to do these lugs. And I'll put a link to where you can pick those up down below as well. I think it's Super Parts or something like that. Anyway, the watch is a big boy. It's 48 millimeter, right? Now, the lugs are added, but with these lugs, it's 58 millimeter. If you didn't have those lugs, it's basically just the watch head, it'd still be 48, and then the strap pulls off from that. Now, you would think that would wear better than this, but oddly enough, it wears better with these adapters. So that's a little unique, that a 58 millimeter lug to lug actually, for the most part, wears better than the standard strap that would be right up to the case. 19 millimeter thick. It is also thick. No arguing that. 24 millimeter lug width. That's an appropriate lug width for this size watch. You could have done a 22, but it would have been too small. You need that 24 to balance everything out. 6.5 millimeter screw down crown. Tons of knurling on there. Keeps the 1,000 meter water depth rating on this thing. And yeah, it's titanium, but I'm not sure if these are stainless steel or titanium. I think they might be titanium, but in this configuration, it weighs 163 gram, a little bit heavier than the stock weight that was probably closer to like 140-ish. You have a 60-click rotating bezel here. There's no traction on it, right? You have the traction on this ring, but you have no traction on the bezel. So you got to catch these indents here, kind of like rider tabs, and then it's easy to rotate. So there you go. That works. It is a Duratec coated titanium. It does have a sapphire crystal. And the movement inside is the Miyota 8203, which has 21 joules, 45-hour power reserve. You can hand wind it, but it is not hacking. It also has a day date. And because this is the 6931, this is going to have the English and Spanish day wheel. If you would have got the 6930, that's for the Asian market, and it has, I think, probably characters in English, maybe. So that one might even be a little bit more rare in these parts. I'm in the United States. So you can hand wind it. It is a little tricky or weird to get used to operating at left-hand drive. I've just handled so many watches, it's normal. But like I said, it doesn't hack. So when you, if I can get it to there, if you can get it to pop all the way out, you can see you can adjust the time, but the seconds hand just keeps spinning. So you can go ahead and push that in, and then you got to spin it this way to screw that down and lock it down. Now you'll notice this portion here. There are a couple of videos I think showing this, but there's this little this little thing here. It's a spring-loaded captured. You need a little bit of fingernail to get in there, but you pop that down, you flip this guy out, okay? And what that does is now you can see this says open and close. So you spin this. It's reverse threaded. So I'm turning it righty-tighty, but it's actually loosening it. You'll unthread this. It has pretty nice threads, but you still want to be careful with it. Okay, this pops off. Okay, now this is just a retention ring here. And then you can pop the bezel off, as you can see there. Okay. And then you have your click spring in here. Those can wear out, and you need to take this apart and clean it. The original kit did come with extra parts. So you have extra components there. Spring clip is the main thing. Now, to put it back together, it's just the reverse. You just pop this guy back on. Out of OCD, I'll probably put it up towards the centering portion of it, but it's not necessary. And then this guy here, I'm going to spin it this way just so it drops down into its thread. Did I get it? I think I got it. Okay. So then you go ahead and thread that down. And you don't need to like crank it down. And then this basically just has a catch, so it holds, and you can just push that in, and that'll stop that from spinning. And you're back in business. So just another way to keep it clean, or replace the spring clip if you need to, or even the bezel easier, because if you notice, this bezel actually has a nice little thunk there. And then on that inner ring somewhere, there's a little scratch, because if you look to the bezel, actually kind of overhangs that inner chapter ring. So, well, it's an outer chapter ring. Chapter ring would be inside. But helium escape valve, kind of need that at 1,000 meter. There's a look at the case back and all its details. These are the 4 screws. That doesn't open the movement. This is the case back that opens the movement. So if you take these 4 screws off, it actually makes it so you can take these off, and then that's where the strap would go. Or there's other ways you can do it. I don't know if these fit, but these are some other super parts or whatever I had from another thing. This is a ring you can put on there that basically makes it so you can do like a NATO strap or something. And then these are just flat spring bars. I don't know if these are from that same company or not. I just had these floating around. I never threw them away. Let's see. What are these going for? Current market, snapshot in time, 2022. I think Mimo has it listed for like $1,000. That's a legit price, guys. That's I think a fair price in this condition. Has the box and everything. Still runs good. It's hard to throw on the time grapher because it is so thick. It's such a large watch that it's difficult for it to register. It has a 6mm sapphire crystal. Here it is next to the SKX. It looks like a. It looks like you could put an SKX inside this thing. That's how thick it is. But legit, when I put it on my wrist, I absolutely love it. Like, it's something that I'm borderline thinking of owning. As crazy as that sounds, like it's just different, you know. Is it big? Absolutely, it's big. But, you know, when you're, I don't know, like I have so many watches. It's not like I'm going to wear this thing every day, but like if I were to go to a watch meetup or something, yeah, I'd wear this. Because then people are like, hey, what are you wearing? I'm wearing a titanium autozilla. Like it's a beast. The Citizen autozilla, right? Crown dig, you know, thank God it's not on this side because it definitely would dig. On this side, it's there. It's just a wider watch. It doesn't really bother me. It's not really like digging in or anything, so, but you can just see it's an absolute beast. The loom on it is fantastic. It's not as bright as like say Seiko loom or something like that, but it's the cool blue, and actually I think there might even be a touch of green in here too that Citizen does for the pip. So if we kill the lights, check the loom on this. There you go. I mean, I charged it obviously, but I mean it's legit good loom. So that's why I kind of think this watch isn't that old, but they discontinued these, I think, a while ago, like maybe 9 or 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys know the run dates on this, let me know, but I'm pretty sure they discontinued this thing back in like 2012, 2013 or something like that. So it's been like almost 10 years this thing's been discontinued. If I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. That could be right too. So let me know what you guys think about this. Should we wear non-boring dive watches? Is there room in your collection? It's not a wild card. It's a very interesting dive watch. Think about that. What other ones meet that criteria? There's a host of them, but sometimes you have to go looking for them, and this is definitely one of them. Thanks for watching.